here we go. I'm going to jump forward to another section and talking about Custer. And did Custer, the name of the chapter is Did Custer, and it's sort of a appendix. So it's not part of the story, it's after the story. But it talks about, did Custer refuse advice from his scouts? How many Indian warriors were camped on the west bank of the Little Bighorn that Sunday morning of June 25th? Against the real figure, how many did Custer think he would have to fight? Did Custer refuse to believe the estimated number of warriors his scouts told him he would have to fight? Did he fail to follow the advice of his experienced guides and interpreters? One of the best accounts of what the guides thought about the number of Indians and the chances of Custer closing with them is contained in the excellent book William Jackson, Indian Scout, by James Willard Schultz. It is worth careful reading. And here's a couple excerpts from that. On the third day, we struck the trail of the hostiles, the one that Reno had found several days before. Said Bloody Knife. Now remember, Bloody Knife is Custer's, main scout. They're tight. Said Bloody Knife, my friends, this big trail proves what we heard. That the Ogallala, the Miniconjou, the Sansark, and the Teton Sioux have left their agencies to join Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse. I am sure that even this trail does not account for all that have left their agencies. There surely are other trails, and trails too of the Cheyennes and the Arapahoes. Bloody Knife continued. It is as I have told Longhair, this gathering of enemy tribes is too many for us, but he will not believe me. He is bound to lead us against them. They are not far away. Just over this ridge, they are all encamped and waiting for us. Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull are not men without sense. They have their scouts too, and some of them surely have their eyes upon us. Well, tomorrow we are going to have a big fight, a losing fight. Myself, I know what is to happen to me. My sacred helper has given me warning that I am not to see the set of tomorrow's sun. Sad words, those. They chilled us. I saw Charlie Reynolds nod in agreement to them, and was chilled again when he said in a low voice, I feel as he does. Tomorrow will be the end for me, too. Anyone who wants my little outfit of stuff, pointing to his war pack, can have it now. Lieutenant Varnum, who was in charge of the scouts, came over and said that it was General Custer's plan to attempt a surprise attack on the camp of the enemy. Said Bloody Knife, we cannot surprise the enemy. They are not crazy. Without doubt, their scouts have watched every move we have made. Convinced at last that we could not possibly surprise the enemy, General Custer ordered a quick advance, with the scouts and himself in the lead. We had not gone far when Bloody Knife and his two Rees joined us and reported that on the other side of the ridge they had found the day-old trail of many more enemy going toward the valley of Little Bighorn. They were excited and said to Custer, General, we have discovered the camp down there on the Little Bighorn. It is a big one, too big for you to tackle. Why, there are thousands and thousands of Sioux and Cheyennes down there. For a moment the general stared at him angrily, I thought, and then said sternly, I shall attack them. Classic ego maniac right here. Sorry, but that's what this is.
Yeah.
Custer gave orders for attack upon the camp. None of the scouts had been far in the lead, and they all came in. Rees and Crows and Whites and Robert and I, we were a gathering of solemn faces, speaking in English and the sign language, too, so that all would understand. Brewer described the enemy camp. It was, he said, all of 3 miles long and made up of hundreds and hundreds of lodges. Above it and below it and west of it, there were thousands and thousands of horses that were being close herded. With his few riders, Longhair decided to attack the camp, and we were going to have a terrible fight. We should all take courage, fight hard, make our every shot a killer. He finished and none spoke. But after a minute or two, Bloody Knife looked up and signed to the sun, "I shall not see you go down behind the mountains tonight." And at that I almost choked. I felt he knew his end was near and there was no escaping it. I turned and looked the other way. I thought that my own end was near. I felt very sad. So there's the full account of these, all the scouts. Some are, some are white, some are Indian, Native Americans, different tribes, and they're all telling them the same thing. This is not a good plan.